Before a dirham ever changes hands in Dubai, it begins as a silent roll of engineered polymer.
Here, the future banknote is still just material, waiting to be given identity and value. A controlled touch of electricity prepares every surface, so the dirham can hold its secrets for years.
Even at this early stage, every dirham is aligned to the micrometer, ready to carry light as a security feature.
Specialized inks, formulated for both beauty and defense, will soon paint the backbone of the dirham.
Offset printing lays the soft tones and patterns, the subtle canvas beneath the dirham's bold details. Under magnification, what looks like art becomes engineering, patterns that resist the counterfeiter's lens. Intaglio turns steel into a mold for trust. Every engraved line will be felt on the fingertips of millions.
When plate and substrate lock into alignment, the dirham is ready to take on its three-dimensional character. This pressure does more than print. It sculpts the surface so authenticity can be read by touch alone.
Hidden within the note, a metallic line becomes the dirham's inner signature against forgery.
The falcon appears only when light passes through, an invisible emblem that turns paper into protected value.
Advanced foils add motion to the dirham, colors shifting in the light, but anchored by precise engineering.
Visible inks and latent images give the dirham a second life under specialized light, one only professionals routinely see. Every sheet is watched by electronic eyes, comparing thousands of data points in milliseconds.
In currency printing, imperfection does not negotiate. Every flawed dirham is destroyed before it can be born. From loose motion to tight order, the future dirhams gather into controlled stacks, ready to be cut free.
The first cuts are about to separate value from the sheet, transforming printed potential into individual dirham notes. With the first cuts, printed promise begins to separate into individual units of value.
Each precise crosscut turns abstract designs into recognizable dirham notes, ready for counting and control. Before automation takes over, human eyes confirm that every detail survives the journey through steel and pressure.
From chaotic stacks to ordered streams, the dirhams enter a tunnel of speed, sensors, and statistics. In fractions of a second, machines confirm what people will later trust, that every bundle holds exactly what the number says.
Gravity, guides, and repetitive motion compress soft paper into dense, measurable units of currency.
A simple band turns loose cash into traceable inventory. Every brick of dirhams now carries its own printed identity. Before leaving the line, sampled bundles are interrogated again. Numbers, ranges, and labels all must agree.
From bundles to trays, the dirham climbs vertically, consolidating small units into larger blocks of stored value.
A thin skin of plastic protects the dirham blocks from dust, moisture, and tampering along their journey. Weight becomes another safeguard. If a single note goes missing, the scale knows before anyone else does.
Block by block, pallets of dirhams rise, each one documented, sealed, and destined for deeper security.
What began as sheets of polymer is now quantified treasure, strapped, coded, and assigned to a specific route.
Once finished, the dirham leaves the noise of machinery and enters the silent geometry of security.
Behind this engineered barrier, printed dirhams pause, waiting for the moment they are called into circulation.
Each pallet is logged, its dirhams assigned a future destination, from central reserves to the cash drawers of Dubai.
On command, digital orders convert still currency into moving stock, sending dirhams on their journey to the city.
Selected, lifted, and cleared for movement, the dirham finally leaves its high-security cradle to meet the wider economy.
From above, the home of the dirham looks like any industrial site, until you notice the layers of security wrapped around it.
Before it touches the loading dock, every vehicle that carries dirhams must prove it is exactly what it claims to be. Physical checks and paperwork converge here, verifying that what left the vault is the same pallet that has arrived.
At the dock, the outside world and the secure interior meet along a line measured in centimeters. Now, industrial handling replaces highway motion. The journey shifts from kilometers to millimeters.
A single operator, supported by layers of procedure and design, now controls a fortune on 4 steel forks.
Even on the dock, every position is defined and logged. Currency does not rest on the floor by accident. Every boundary inside the facility acts like a checkpoint between logistics and security.
Inside, the route is as scripted as the printing process. Every pallet of dirhams follows a documented path.
2 doors, one at a time. Simple engineering that keeps movement controlled and auditable. Here, pallets of value are sorted the way parcels are, but with stakes measured in national liquidity.
Data and physical reality must match exactly. Only then is a pallet of dirhams allowed to leave this hall. On this side, currency does not arrive. It departs, bound for the cash centers that feed the city. Inside the armored shell, dirhams are arranged as densely as possible, yet secured against even a sudden stop.
With one number and a piece of metal, the load becomes a sealed promise that must arrive intact. From this moment, the dirham is on the move, escorted, scheduled, and tracked until the very last stop. Kilometers translate printed value into geographic reach, tying the central facility to the financial rhythm of Dubai.
Here, currency arrives not to be printed, but to be staged, sorted, and sent to the banks of everyday life. As the truck touches the dock, the dirham crosses into its final industrial stage, preparing for contact with people.
Here, the journey of these dirhams resumes, documented, supervised, and ready for controlled release. Protective skins are stripped away so the real work can begin, counting, sorting, and checking each note's health. What looks like a pile of money from a distance becomes raw material for machines that see every note individually.
Optics, magnets, and algorithms work together, deciding in milliseconds which dirhams can continue serving and which are retired. When a dirham falls outside the expected pattern, the machine does not argue. It isolates and records it for human judgment.
Here, expertise and instrumentation intersect, ensuring fake or compromised notes never re-enter Dubai's cash cycle. Every note is accounted for, counted, categorized, and tied to digital records before it moves another centimeter. Even the invisible byproduct of cash, dust and fiber, is captured, keeping both the machines and the dirhams cleaner.
Notes that have reached the end of their physical life are not ignored. They are queued for a final, documented disappearance.
Only dirhams certified as fit for another round in circulation earn a new slot in the repack workflow.
Redundant counting proves the arithmetic. Each bundle of dirhams is rebuilt to a precise, verifiable standard.
New straps tell the story of where each dirham has been processed and who signed off on its return to circulation.
Within these transparent blocks, fit dirhams are packaged again, this time custom-built for city-level distribution. Here, the dirham is matched to real geography, sorted not just by denomination, but by where people will actually withdraw it. Once the numbers and locations match, the sorted dirhams are no longer just processed. They are scheduled. From loose notes to bricks to cages, every step of sorting redefines the same dirhams into more organized forms of liquidity. Even the counterfeit dirham is traced and contained, its existence documented as part of the system's memory. What can no longer circulate is systematically erased, removing worn dirhams from the economy while preserving the totals in digital ledgers.
When the machines pause, the result of their work remains. Organized cash, ready to step closer to the hands that will use it.
Sorted, verified, and repacked, The dirham is now cleaned of errors and ready to be pushed outward into Dubai's financial network. As the systems reset for the next day's flow, today's dirhams wait in steel cages for their final industrial journey. Every movement of the dirham, from bundle to bin, is recorded as evidence that the system behaved exactly as designed.
All clear.
Confirmed.
With responsibilities handed over and the day's figures locked, the dirham stands ready for its final transformation into the cash that Dubai will touch.
Here, strategy turns into allocation, deciding exactly which dirhams move out first to keep Dubai's cash points alive. Every cage of dirhams is matched to a route, turning abstract totals into specific missions for ATMs and branches.
Inside this room, bulk cash becomes precise payloads, tuned to the needs of individual ATMs across the city.
Denominations are mapped to each cassette, so the ATM can deliver exactly the mix of dirhams its neighborhood expects.
Carefully unwrapped and rechecked, these dirhams are one step away from becoming the cash people draw from machines.
In each cassette, thousands of dirhams are compressed into a precise block, ready to be dispensed one sheet at a time.
Each sealed cassette becomes a mini vault, documented by number and destination before it ever leaves the table.
These armored cases now contain the core of the ATM's power, the dirhams that will answer every withdrawal request.
Not all dirhams go to machines. Some are destined for teller drawers, prepared with the same precision as ATM loads.
On paper, the journey is pre-written. Every bundle and cassette given a line in a manifest before a single wheel turns.
Before they move a single dirham, the crew rehearses the path and the rules that govern every stop.
Now the dirhams leave the controlled environment of the cash center, guarded by procedures as much as by steel.
Once strapped, locked, and signed for, every piece of cargo becomes a responsibility shared by the entire crew.
With vehicle and cargo cleared, the dirhams are cleared for their most visible role, feeding the city's front lines of cash access.
Behind the facade of the mall, a hidden corridor connects the truck's sealed cargo with the machine people trust daily. Old cassettes come out first, carrying the machine's remaining story of previous withdrawals. Fresh cassettes take their place, each one now holding a known quantity of dirhams mapped to the ATM's logic.
Digital balances are reset to match the physical dirhams, so every withdrawal the ATM reports will reflect what's truly inside.
With a single successful test note, the system certifies that these dirhams are ready to meet the public, one transaction at a time. Location by location, the same process repeats, bringing dirhams from the core processing hub to the places people live and move. What left full comes back partially spent, closing the loop that will send these dirhams back through sorting once again. Every route ends where the next cycle begins, inside the same walls where dirhams are counted, cleaned, and reassigned.
Only when every notice journey has been reconciled on screen and on paper is the route truly complete.
Used dirhams circle back into the same industrial system, proving that cash is not just printed once, but processed repeatedly.
Behind the scenes, data traces the pulses of physical cash, turning the flow of dirhams into measurable performance.
For the crew, the job ends when signatures and reports agree, when every dirham has a matching line in the record.
For the user, it is a simple gesture at a machine. For the system, it is the final step of a tightly choreographed dance of dirhams. Once loaded into machines, the dirham turns from stacked inventory into personal spending power in seconds.
Here, dirhams become part of daily life, fueling small transactions that add up across the city.
Retail tills quietly gather the city's dirhams, accumulating the cash that will later flow back into the system. Even where cards dominate, cash holds its place, coexisting with digital payments in a steady, tangible flow. When doors close to customers, another layer of counting begins, this time aimed at returning dirhams to the banking system. Every note is recounted and reconciled against sales, so that cash on hand and records line up before it ever leaves the store. Retail cash is converted into standardized deposit units, packaged dirhams ready to re-enter the formal cash cycle. Through these pickups, dirhams spent in thousands of small transactions converge back toward the central processing hubs.
Every deposit is authenticated by ID before a single AED note see the open air of the counting hall.
Confirmed. Manifest 7 synchronized. Bay 4 cleared.
Cash from shops and cafes sheds its store identities and becomes pooled currency, ready for industrial-level inspection again.
The circle tightens. Dirhams that just left ATMs and tills return to the same scanners that judge their condition.
Self-service deposit machines extend the cash center's logic into branches, bringing automated processing closer to the source of cash. Branches manage their own microcycles of the dirham, balancing what sits in drawers with what waits behind steel and concrete.
Through teller windows, the dirham re-enters circulation in bulk, fueling everything from salaries to business deals.
Some dirhams jump directly from bank to payroll, skipping ATMs entirely but remaining within the same controlled cycle.
At this scale, dirhams change hands quickly, layering personal stories onto each note's industrial history.
Cash that left the bank through ATMs and tellers returns in different configurations, ready to be sorted and redeployed.
Behind every note in a wallet or till, aggregated numbers guide how many new dirhams must be printed, stored, and sent.
Knowing when and where demand peaks allows planners to pre-position dirhams, so cash remains available even when usage surges. Every destroyed dirham creates space for a new one, keeping the circulating stock clean, secure, and physically reliable.
Despite the rise of digital payments, a significant share of everyday spending still rides on physical dirhams. From factory to vault to wallet and back again, the dirham completes its transformation. From printed here, the dirham meets the latest generation of automation, robots and systems designed around the cash cycle itself. Standardized trays turn loose dirhams into modular cargo that automation can grip, scan, and move with precision. Movements once handled by human male cashiers are translated into robotic choreography, faster, tireless, and highly controlled. High-speed systems read every note's identity and condition in milliseconds, turning mixed flows into precisely sorted AED streams.
Instead of operators lifting stacks, tray shuttles and movers handle the weight, keeping the dirham stream continuous and ergonomic.
Small automated vehicles replace trolleys and manual pushing, linking processing lines with secure storage through software-defined routes. Complex picking algorithms blend different stocks into exactly the combinations needed by each route and channel.
Every tray of dirhams exists in two places at once, on the warehouse floor and inside a real-time digital twin.
Where manual bundling once dominated, robotic cells can cycle through thousands of dirhams per hour with consistent precision.
Vision systems add another layer of verification, so the dirham's packaging is as accurate as its counting. Heavy lifting is left to robots, allowing humans to supervise, analyze, and intervene only when necessary.
Automated carriers stitch together every area of the cash center, reducing idle time between processing and dispatch. Sensors and analytics help keep the automated dirham factory running, catching issues before they stop the flow. Intelligent forecasting aligns automation capacity with real-world demand, so dirhams are ready where and when they are needed.
Exceptional dirhams are still treated individually, but now robots handle the first pass before people step in.
Human oversight remains central, directing, adjusting, and authorizing changes in a largely autonomous dirham factory.
Automation not only accelerates cash processing, it also allows energy use to be tuned to the rhythm of demand.
Enclosed tracks carry dirhams between zones like arteries, protecting cargo and freeing floors for people and vehicles.
Automation handles the repetitive and heavy, people handle the judgment and final responsibility over each dirham package. When the robots rest, millions of dirhams stay suspended in ordered storage, waiting for the next day's instructions. As Dubai's economy evolves, the dirham's backbone is a hybrid of physical infrastructure and digital intelligence.
Not every dirham passes through full automation yet, but the migration from manual to robotic is well underway.
At this level, the dirham is handled less like paper and more like data, processed, stored, and routed by intelligent machines.
After printing and cutting, each dirham faces one last scrutiny, alone, under a battery of lenses and light.
Optical systems compare each note against its ideal template, allowing only minor deviations and rejecting serious flaws.
Materials and seals are more than decoration. They allow tracking, analytics, and immediate identification of misprints.
Defective dirhams never leave the building. The system ejects them automatically for controlled destruction. At the end of inspection, the dirham returns to order, flat, aligned, and ready to be packaged as perfect currency.
A small fraction of new dirhams leave the production path, not for circulation, but to be intentionally stressed in the lab.
Durability tests answer a practical question. How many real-life handling cycles can the dirham endure before it fails standards?
Fold by old, crumple by crumple, the dirham's paper or polymer is pushed far beyond what most notes will experience in circulation.
Controlled abrasion and dirt simulate months or years of handling in wallets, tills, and street-level transactions.
Lab readings show whether inks, foils, and polymer windows can survive the dirham's full expected life without losing security or legibility.
Durability data feeds into design choices, guiding how future dirham series will balance cost, resilience, and security. Under magnification, even tiny flaws become obvious, allowing engineers to refine both substrate and printing processes. Despite automation, trained human eyes remain the final arbiters for subtle color and feature judgments. Decisions made here determine how the next generation of dirhams will feel, look, and age in the hands of the public. At this stage, every dirham in these boxes has passed layers of inspection, ready to join the operational stock.
Serial analytics ensure that the dirham supply has no blind spots. Every note can be traced back through its life cycle. Before any new design reaches people's wallets in Dubai, it lives here as a test object, refined across iterations.
Insights from testing help decide how often dirhams should be replaced, keeping circulation clean without wasting resources.
Quality and durability tests do more than approve today's notes. They shape the dirham's future generations.
With finishing complete, the dirham leaves the realm of testing and enters its final industrial stage: packaging, storage, and distribution. Beyond routine fitness checks, a forensic lab investigates the rare dirhams that might not be what they claim to be.
Different light reveals different truths. Authentic dirhams respond in ways cheap copiers and improvised inks cannot imitate.
At microscopic scale, genuine and fake diverge. Line geometry and substrate construction reveal the counterfeiter's shortcuts.
Each confirmed counterfeit joins a growing forensic library, helping authorities track patterns and dismantle production sources.
Feel, look, tilt.
Training turns frontline staff into the first filter, so counterfeit dirhams are caught early before they spread.
Check, feel, tilt. Clear communication helps the public recognize genuine dirhams, making every citizen part of the protection network.
Alongside counterfeits, another invisible issue is studied: the microbes that hitchhike on dirhams as they travel through daily life. Studies consistently show that a high percentage of circulating banknotes carry bacteria, reflecting how widely and frequently they change hands. Health research feeds back into substrate choices and public advice, keeping the dirham both secure and cleaner in circulation. Continuous measurement of counterfeit rates confirms whether the dirham's security design is performing as intended in the real world.
Digital training keeps professional cash handlers up to date, standardizing how dirhams are checked across branches and companies.
Field reports help central authorities refine both ink-on-paper features and training materials for the next round of improvements.
Because counterfeit operations often cross borders, protecting the dirham also means collaborating with other currencies' guardians.
Features that perform well in the field are strengthened. Those that underperform are redesigned or supplemented.
New technologies are constantly evaluated, but only those practical, durable, and understandable to the public make it onto future dirhams. Research on contamination leads to hygiene protocols, protecting both workers and the wider community handling dirhams every day.
Simple public guidance supports both health and security, helping keep the dirham trustworthy and familiar.
Long-term data confirms whether the dirham's design and processes are achieving their goals: clean, secure, and reliable cash.
These briefings tie lab work and field evidence into policy, guiding how many dirhams to print, replace, and redesign.
With tests complete and evidence secured, the focus shifts back to the warehouse, where finished dirhams await their next deployment. In reserve stock, the dirham rests in bulk, boxed, labeled, and stacked, where every carton's position is known. Automated cranes handle heavy reserve pallets, turning the vault into a high-density warehouse designed specifically for cash.
Before any pallet leaves deep storage, identifiers and mass must match exactly. No discrepancies accepted.
Human verification remains embedded in the process, double-checking what machines have already confirmed.
A final layer of plastic protects the pallet from dust, moisture, and tampering on its journey out of the vault.
From central reserves to city-level cash centers, each movement of dirhams begins as a line on a dispatch plan.
Within secure corridors, pallets move seamlessly from storage to staging, never leaving controlled, monitored space.
In this zone, reserve stock becomes moving cargo, assigned to vehicles that will carry it closer to Dubai's cash infrastructure. Inside the armored shell, dirhams are immobilized against shock, theft, and sudden stops. From this moment onward, the vehicle, seal, and manifest form an unbroken chain of responsibility over the load of dirhams.
With central vault controls behind it, the dirham consignment moves across the landscape, bridging the gap between national reserves and local demand.
Seals and logs link origin to arrival, ensuring that every dirham pallet can be traced back to the central reserve.
Here, national stock becomes regional stock, dirhams staged for the specific tempo of Dubai's cash usage.
Once in Dubai Reserve, the dirham stands one step away from immediate use, ready to be pulled into circulation whenever needed.
Reserve pallets are broken down into practical units, fine-tuned combinations of dirhams that mirror the city's real demand.
At this stage, reserve dirhams are almost indistinguishable from previously processed cash.
Just in final dispatch, dirhams leave the warehouse context and re-enter the city as accessible, everyday cash.
Between waves of movement, the reserve pauses, but sensors and systems never stop keeping count.
For those who manage it, the dirham is both abstract numbers and very real weight, rows of boxed value under their care. This pallet is the final industrial form of the dirham, ready to answer any surge in demand from the city beyond these walls. Behind the scenes of every cash transaction is a warehouse like this, quiet, structured, and constantly audited.
And this is how modern factories, vaults, and cash centers produce and move the Dubai dirham. From raw.
Subscribe for more real factory breakdowns.